Domestic violence calls are one of the most dangerous calls that officers respond to. They are typically in crisis when they're calling, so there's a lot of emotions involved. Just in 2023 alone, there were almost 7,000 domestic violence calls. When you break it down, it's basically one domestic violence call related every hour to hour and 20 minutes. The partnership and relationship that we've built with the YWCA and the Family Justice Center has really been immeasurable. The advocates can help them safety plan and help them with other valuable and needed resources and help them heal.
Oftentimes, a survivor in our community's first touch is with our 24-hour helpline. That team talks to survivors about safety planning, resources, referrals, supportive listening, and sometimes those conversations also lead into a stay into our emergency safe shelter. People show up at our door wearing what they have, sometimes in slippers, kids in pajamas, and our role is to start small of what needs can we meet right now, what needs are we meeting tomorrow, and then what are we gradually working to our long-term goals of stability and safety.
For those that don't come through the helpline, sometimes our legal advocates, our criminal legal advocates, they go through and they get all the lethality assessment protocols, the laps from law enforcement every morning. The shelter, the helpline folks put them into the computer, and then the advocates, the legal advocates, come in the morning and they start reaching out to the people who've been identified by law enforcement as being victims of DV and high risk. And we can get there, make the phone calls, and then hopefully then hand them off to the people that can provide.
I really like that our agency has both specialized advocates who are there for the legal part or for the housing part. And then in the support department, we are just there for the general support. So the support advocates are there to kind of start addressing all of it and then connecting to the resources, which might be the housing advocates, which might be the helpline, might be legal advocacy or civil legal advocacy. Because that crisis, there's so much going on, it's sometimes really hard to organize where I even need to start in that moment.
We do something special in our housing department where we're not a one and done, here's your housing, see you later. We're really engaged in their process because a lot of times, once folks have come out of that crisis situation and are finally able to breathe, a lot of that trauma that they've been carrying surfaces and makes it difficult for them to maintain stability for them and their families.
In the Women's Opportunity Center, it's about helping women come out of isolation and get into community with other people who have experienced similar things, which can really be powerful in helping someone move forward. It's a long journey and it's, a piece at a time, and each individual's so different.
Most of the time people come to us and say, I just want to feel better, right? I just want to feel better. And so it's up to the therapist to really figure out, what does that really mean? And through the assessment process, we're able to delineate what impact has that event had on this person and what does it mean for them now.
Building nervous system resiliency is really about learning skills around being able to respond versus react and knowing the difference between those two things.
It's the strength and resiliency of the folks that we speak to, and just, being able to see people who think that they can't do a lot because they've been told they can't do so much. Finally do it, and just being able to celebrate that moment with them is such a special thing to be able to witness.
They are so much more involved than anybody knows except for the person who's experiencing it.
It can be rare for youth voices to be centered in the way that our agency really strives to do. And talking with teens, particularly about the dynamics they're experiencing in the relationships, it feels like a shift.
Just because you come from this family dynamic, it doesn't mean that you have to repeat the cycle. Having that choice of you get to decide how you want to navigate your relationships and what kind of relationships you want to foster, versus thinking that it's like set in stone because this is what you come from.
I work with the ECAP children and families. One of the things that I see so prevalently with our families is domestic violence, and the kids oftentimes are witnessing it. Then they come to school and they reenact that, and we have the opportunity to like pause right then and there and talk about like, how do we feel about it? Why are we behaving that way? My opinion is when they then become adults, they will have those skills to be able to say like, man, I'm really upset here and this is why, versus turning it around and being violent with someone else. It's a full circle program, and that's so cool. And that's how change is made.
I think one of the other things that I enjoy is building partnerships in relationships. Like, we can't do this on our own. The work really requires that we connect as a community and learn how not just staff at the Y further this work, but how do we work together?
It's a journey watching the resiliency of these families that we're working with.
If someone gives us an opportunity to let us in, like, boy, what a gift.
You become a part of their family and helping them in their growth.
It's like awesome to see them build that rapport so quickly and find that place of belonging within our camp.
I'm very, very committed to the idea of a world without violence. That motivates me every single day.